Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 crime cities to live in, or perhaps more accurately, consider avoiding at all costs if you value your safety. Look, we all enjoy a good adrenaline rush, but there's a fine line between living on the edge and teetering on the precipice of a statistically probable mugging. These cities are notorious for their high crime rates, making them some of the most dangerous places to call home. Now, we're not saying everyone who lives in these cities is constantly dodging stray bullets while simultaneously filing insurance claims for stolen catalytic converters. But let's just say that if these cities were a dating profile, under hobbies it would definitely list petty theft and having a concerning number of unsolved murders. So, buckle up, hold on to your valuables, preferably inside a locked safe encased in concrete and guarded by a pack of attacked chihuahuas, as we delve into the mean streets of America's most crime-ridden cities. This is a wild ride you won't want to miss, mostly because you'll be too terrified to look away. First up, we have Detroit, a city that's unfortunately synonymous with urban decay and, you guessed it, crime. Once a thriving hub of industry, Detroit has struggled for decades with poverty, unemployment, and a crime rate that seems to have a permanent residency in the stratosphere. We're talking about a city where you can buy a house for the price of a used car, but good luck finding affordable car insurance because chances are that car will be stolen faster than you can say ignition interlock. Detroit's violent crime rate is more than 5 times the national average, which is a statistic that would make even the most hardened criminal say, okay, that's a bit much. Next on our list is St. Louis, a city known for its iconic arch, delicious toasted ravioli, and a homicide rate that's higher than a giraffe's blood pressure after climbing a flight of stairs. St. Louis consistently ranks high in violent crime, particularly homicides, which seems a bit counterintuitive for a place called the Lou. You'd think a city named after a king would have a better handle on keeping the peace, but apparently the only thing being ruled in St. Louis is fear. And look, we're not saying you'll definitely get murdered if you visit St. Louis, but let's just say it's probably best to avoid dark alleys, wearing expensive jewelry, and engaging in any activity that could be misconstrued as looking at someone the wrong way. Coming in at number 3 is Baltimore, a city that's home to delicious crab cakes, a world-renowned aquarium, and a level of drug-related crime that would make Walter White blush. Look, we appreciate a good crab cake as much as the next person, but is it worth braving a city where even the pigeons look like they might shank you for a breadcrumb? Baltimore has been grappling with a complex web of social and economic issues for decades, leading to a cycle of poverty, crime, and despair that's harder to escape than a conversation about The Wire at a dinner party. It's a city where even the police seem to be operating on a catch-and-release program which, to be fair, is probably for the best considering the state of their prisons. Chapter 4, Memphis, home of the blues, and a whole lot of crime. Next up, we have Memphis, a city known for its rich musical history, finger-licking good barbecue, and a crime rate that's about as subtle as a banjo solo in a library. Memphis has a particularly nasty problem with violent crimes, especially aggravated assault and robbery, which is a real shame because those Elvis impersonators need something to sing about besides getting mugged on Beale Street. We're talking about a city where even the ghosts are probably too scared to come out and haunt anything because they're worried about getting caught in the crossfire. Look, well, we all love a good ghost story, but there's a difference between spooky and I'm pretty sure I just saw a drug deal go down in the graveyard spooky. Chapter 5, Kansas City. More like Kansas City of crime. We're workshopping this one. Kansas City, a city known for its fountains, jazz heritage, and a homicide rate that's about as fun as a Chiefs game, where Patrick Mahomes throws 5 interceptions. Kansas City has seen a concerning spike in violent crime recently, particularly homicides, which is a real bummer because honestly we're running out of puns for Kansas City and crime. It's a city where even the barbecue sauce can't mask the bitter aftertaste of fear that permeates the streets. We're just saying if you're planning a trip to Kansas City, maybe pack a bulletproof vest alongside your wet wipes for all that delicious barbecue sauce. Chapter 6, Cleveland, the rock and roll capital of crime. Coming in at number 6 is Cleveland, a city that's home to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a surprisingly delicious food scene and a crime rate that's stuck in a rut deeper than the Cuyahoga River before they finally figured out how to stop it from catching fire. Cleveland has been battling high rates of both violent and property crime for years, which is a real shame because, well, honestly, they've been through enough. We're talking about a city where you're more likely to get your car broken into than you are to see LeBron James walking down the street. And look, we get it, times are tough, people are desperate. But maybe instead of stealing car stereos, Cleveland could focus on stealing some wins for the Browns? Just a thought. Next up, we have Oakland, a city known for its beautiful scenery, diverse culture, and, well, a violent crime rate that's higher than the rent in San Francisco. Oakland has long struggled to shed its reputation as a dangerous city, and unfortunately the statistics aren't doing it any favors. We're talking about a city where you're more likely to witness a drive-by shooting than you are to find a parking space with decent rates. And look, we appreciate a good view as much as the next person, but is it worth risking your life for a glimpse of the Golden Gate Bridge? We'll let you be the judge of that. Chapter 8, Albuquerque, Breaking Bad, and Breaking the Law. At number 8, we have Albuquerque, a city known for its stunning desert landscapes, its connection to the hit TV show Breaking Bad, and a crime rate that's hotter than a New Mexico summer. Albuquerque has a problem, and it's not just Walter White cooking meth in an RV. We're talking about a city where you're more likely to find a meth lab than you are to find an affordable housing option. And look, we appreciate a good crime drama as much as the next person, but there's a difference between watching Bryan Cranston cook meth on TV and potentially stumbling upon a real-life drug den while looking for a decent burrito joint. Chapter 9, Milwaukee, from Beer City to Fear City. Coming in at number 9 is Milwaukee, a city known for its beer brewing heritage, its love for cheese curds, and a homicide rate that's about as appealing as a lukewarm beer. Milwaukee has a serious problem with violent crime, particularly homicides and assaults, which is a real shame because, honestly, who wants to get stabbed over a cheese curd? We're talking about a city where you're more likely to get into a bar fight about which brewery makes the best IPA than you are to have a civil conversation about politics. And look, we all love a good craft beer, but is it worth risking your life for a pint of locally brewed ale? We'll let you be the judge of that. Chapter 10, Chicago, the Windy City of Crime. We're sensing a theme here. And finally, at number 10, we have Chicago, a city known for its stunning architecture, its deep dish pizza, and a reputation for gun violence that's about as subtle as a foghorn in a library. Chicago has long been plagued by gun violence and homicides, which is a real shame because, honestly, who wants to dodge bullets while trying to enjoy a slice of pizza? We're talking about a city where you're more likely to see a police chase on the evening news than you are to see a Cubs game without getting heckled by a drunk fan. And look, we appreciate a good hot dog as much as the next person, but is it worth risking your life for a taste of Chicago's culinary delights? We'll let you be the judge of that. Outro, stay safe out there, kids. Well, there you have it, folks, our whirlwind tour of America's most crime-ridden cities. We hope you found it informative, if not slightly terrifying. Remember, just because a city has a high crime rate doesn't mean it's a complete and utter hellscape. There are still good people, vibrant communities, and delicious food to be found in all of these cities. However, it's important to be aware of your surroundings, take precautions, and maybe invest in a good security system if you're planning on moving to any of these places. And hey, if you do decide to visit, just remember to keep your wits about you, your valuables close, and your escape route planned. Thank you for watching our countdown of the top 10 crime cities to live in. Stay safe and be aware of your surroundings, no matter where you live. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more informative videos that will leave you simultaneously entertained and slightly terrified.